Tonight on KPBS Evening Edition, multiple murder charges are filed against a former San Diegan in the Colorado movie theater shooting, why prosecutors doubled down on the charges.
And Governor Brown endorses a plan for nearly 40 miles of underground tunnels to end the water conflict between Northern and Southern California. Plus, a methane gas seep is discovered just 20 miles off the Del Mar coast. Those stories and more on tonight's Roundtable.
And history may be repeating itself in the controversy over controlling traffic in Balboa Park. KPBS Evening Edition starts now. Hello, good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dwayne Brown. The suspect in the Colorado movie theater shootings has been charged with 24 counts of murder and 116 counts of attempted murder. That's 2 counts for each of the 12 people killed and 58 injured. Legal experts say doubling up the charges creates more options for sentencing if he's convicted. James Holmes grew up in the San Diego area. He was also charged with possessing explosives and a crime of violence. Holmes sat silently without reacting to the formal charges filed against him today in a Denver courtroom. A San Diego judge has ordered a mental competency hearing for a 10-year-old boy. He's accused of stabbing a friend to death. Defense attorneys say they doubt the boy's ability to understand the charges against him or to help in his own defense. The boy is accused of killing 12-year-old Ryan Carter in January. If convicted, he could be held in the juvenile justice system until he turns 25. Improving educational outcomes for African American students is the focus of a new White House initiative. San Diego City Schools began rolling out a similar plan this year. KPBS education reporter Kyla Calvert joins us from the News Center. What are the goals of this new White House initiative, Kyla, and how does it compare to what's going on in San Diego?
Well, the White House initiative on educational excellence for African Americans really looks to eliminate the educational disparities that we see across this country in terms of African American students having lower standardized test scores and lower graduation rates. Some of the specific goals that President Obama outlined included increasing African American participation in pre-kindergarten programs, reducing the number of African American students who are unnecessarily referred for special education services, evening out the use of suspension and expulsion, which tend to be used more frequently for African American students, and ensuring access to rigorous college and career preparatory classes. And those goals are very similar to those of the blueprint for accelerating the achievement of African American and African students, which San Diego Unified started to roll out at the beginning of this school year. I spoke with Reverend Wendell Bass, who is one of the authors of that blueprint, and he said this year they really focused on reaching out to parents, and so they had more workshops for parents, more kinds of workshops. And they also encourage schools to open parent centers and focus on reaching out to African American parents and increasing their involvement in their children's education.
And Kyla, what's next for the San Diego initiative?
Well, Reverend Bass said that next month the Board of Ed will be looking at some recommendations of specific areas that the district can track in terms of, test scores and graduation rates, dropout rates, attendance rates, to see whether the changes being made under the blueprint are making the difference that they are hoping that they will.
KPBS education reporter Kyla Calvert. Mayoral candidate Bob Filner says he'll put a former rival to work if he's elected. Filner says he'll offer a high-profile job to Assemblyman Nathan Fletcher. Filner says the post would concentrate on projects such as the convention center expansion and a new Charger stadium. Fletcher says he's open to the idea. Republican candidate for Mayor Carl DeMaio has crossed party lines to lure a campaign advisor. The former chairman of the County Democratic Party has joined DeMaio's team. Art Castaneris will advise the campaign on communications and coalition outreach. He says he sees things differently than DeMaio, but says DeMaio has the right leadership skills. Controversy has flared over San Diego's decision to build a bypass road and parking garage in Balboa Park, but that isn't the first time the city's dealt with traffic issues in the park. KPBS Metro reporter Katie Orr joins us from the News Center to explain. The city actually moved to limit traffic in the park several times in the 1970s. Katie, tell us about those projects.
Right, Dwayne. In the early 70s, the Reuben H. Fleet Science Center was opening, and the people in charge there wanted a better entrance to the museum. At the time, the El Prado Road ran from Park Boulevard through the park to 6th Avenue on the west side. So the city decided to build a fountain in the plaza in front of the museum and reroute traffic around the Natural History Museum. In 1976, the city was looking for a way to unify the eastern edge of the park and the Plaza de Panama, and the decision was made to temporarily close the rest of El Prado East to traffic. And apparently they liked the results because the road was never reopened.
And were people opposed to plans back then?
Yes, they were. I spoke with an architect who worked on both projects, John Henderson. He says the road was one of the few in the area at the time that ran east to west, and it was a major thoroughfare. So it was a big deal to close it. But city leaders ultimately felt it was better for the park, so the projects went forward.
KPBS Metro reporter Katie Orr. Governor Jerry Brown is pushing a plan to build twin tunnels up north to deliver more water to Southern California. Peggy Pico is talking about how it would impact San Diego over at the roundtable.
The governor is calling for the new $14 billion water delivery system in hopes of ending a long-standing conflict over California's water use and environmental concerns. The vast system of waterways accounts for 2/3 of California's drinking water. To talk about the issues are Rita Schmidt-Sudman of the Water Education Foundation, a nonprofit educational organization, and Tom Warnham, the vice chairman of San Diego County Water Authority. Thank you both for being here. Rita, my first question to you is to break this down simply for us and why it matters to us right now.
Well, this proposal's been on the books for many years. People have been fighting about this way to get water through the Delta, where so much of California's water converges, and Central and Southern California use it. So how to do it in an environmentally efficient way? The old idea was a tunnel, was a canal. That got nixed by the people of California. The new plan is a habitat plan and a tunnel that goes underneath, and that way the fish aren't drawn in and killed, etc. So this has been a long-standing fight over California water. It's split farmers, environmentalists, urban folks. This new plan is something that the governor has decided to support. He has not weighed in on California water issues before, so it was interesting to see how forceful he was in support of this proposal.
We'll definitely get back to that. But here in San Diego, you know, we're talking about Sacramento, San Joaquin River. How much water, if this does go through, do you think, would it change the amount of water we're getting?
You know, it really becomes an issue of reliability. We don't anticipate that we'll have any more water out of this, but we are at the end of a very fragile pipeline. Also, we're at the end, as you know, of a river that's drying up. Not exactly prime real estate if you don't have water. So the water reliability, we at the Water Authority are really pleased with what the governor and Secretary Salazar did last week. Our concern becomes now it's an issue of right-sizing and determining how much it costs and who's going to pay for it.
Okay, so not a whole lot more water, just a reliability issue. We're talking about $14 billion project estimated at this time. Taxpayers going to pay for that?
No, the water users have said they will pay for this tunnel. So that would go a long way towards getting this water to Southern and Central California. But what people have to understand is the water will go anyway. It always has. There's been contracts for all these years. It's been the endangered species law that has been trumping this and causing the water to be cut off at certain times. So this idea is that this tunnel would be more environmentally friendly to fish and allow some water deliveries. Water will become more expensive. People will have to pay in the Southland for it.
And that's my question to you, Tom. How about here? Are we per month, $7 to $10 per month? I've heard that figure thrown out. How much are we going to have to pay in San Diego for this?
We don't know. And I think that's the fairest answer I can give you, because it does become an issue of how much water is taken, how long does it take us to do this. You know, we in San Diego have been very supportive of the Delta solution. Co-equal goals, which is making sure that the solution is providing for the restoration, mitigation for the ecosystems and also for the conveyance. But again, it becomes an issue of who pays for it, and how much does it cost, because it has to be right-sized. And if I might just for a moment, it has to be a California solution. This is one where Northern California has to benefit, so does the Central Valley, so does Southern California.
You know, when you're in Northern California and you see all the water around you, because this was my hometown, I moved up there, I couldn't believe how contentious it is. They see that water, they think, okay, this is our water. Why should we ship it down south? A guy was telling me the other day from San Jose, oh, they have all this sprawl in L.A. and San Diego. Well, excuse me, you're in San Jose. Right. Do you not have that?
Exactly.
We are all guilty. We all drink water, but we want our fish to survive. We want good farming. We want agriculture. We want that wine they grow in the Central Valley.
Right.
We're going to have to compromise. These things come down to the last minute in California water. People fight. They go in a room. They slug it out. And at the last minute, they come out with some compromise. Stalemate is what we've had, though, and it is not acceptable. One way or the other, make a decision.
All right. Tom?
We do need to preserve the 8th largest economy on the planet, and that is what is at stake. So when we look to this solution, you know, we in San Diego are willing to pay our fair share, but it's up to us to work together with the rest of the state and the rest of the stakeholders, like our 25 fellow Met partners, in determining what our fair share is.
Right, absolutely. This is a shared statewide. We have run out of time. There is more information on our website about this, an in-depth discussion you had on the radio this afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you both for
having us here.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
It's been great to be home.
Driving to the Otay Mesa port of entry just got a lot easier. State Route 905 now open, connecting the port to the rest of the highway system. Until today, trucks had to use Otay Mesa Road, creating a dangerous mix of big rigs, passenger cars, and cross traffic.
California established itself as the leader for building America's...
The head of California's high-speed rail project will be honored at the White House tomorrow. Dan Richard is being named a Transportation Innovator Champion of Change. Each week, the Obama administration names a champion in a different field. The honor comes as anti-tax critics focus on the high-speed rail project in their newest ad. It criticizes Sacramento for supporting the $68 billion bullet train while pushing for tax increases. A team of San Diego graduate students discovered something seeping off the coast near Del Mar. Peggy is looking at why it's so significant over at the roundtable.
Earlier this month, a team of graduate students from Scripps Institution of Oceanography were mapping the seafloor about 20 miles west of Del Mar when they found what is thought to be the first methane seep in San Diego County. To talk about the rare find are two of the students on that team that made the discovery. Benjamin Gruppe studies biological oceanography, and Jillian Maloney studies geoscience. Thank you both for being here. Ben, give us the Cliff Notes version of what a methane seep is.
Well, this is an ecosystem in the deep sea where methane is seeping up to the surface of the sediment, and organisms like bacteria and archaea, little microbes, use that for energy. And you have a whole ecosystem of animals that are feeding off of the food coming from that chemical energy.
Yeah, you don't really think of gas as food, and we're going to let's take a look at the experiment you did to confirm this methane leak. So we have some video of it. We're looking at it right now. What are we looking at?
So we're seeing bubbling coming from pieces of carbonate because we've added an acid to that water, and this confirms that the rock is actually carbonate, which is produced by the microbes at methane seeps.
So if there wasn't any methane, we wouldn't be seeing the bubbles, right?
If there was no methane, then the microbes can't produce that rock, so you wouldn't see the bubbling carbonate.
The bubbles. That's
correct.
Fascinating. I like it. Salsa water rocks.
Right.
It seems like. Jillian, now this underwater hill, basically, it's more than 3,000 feet underwater. My understanding is it's about 2 stories high and about a city block in length. How on earth did you find that?
Well, so we had a suggestion from some colleagues at the USGS that this was an interesting area to look at. And we went out there with geophysical tools, acoustic methods that use sound, send it to the bottom of the seafloor, and they can tell us something about what the seafloor looks like and what it looks like beneath the seafloor. The sound it sounds like a giant cricket. We can hear it all night on the ship, trying to keep us awake. And
it's clicks, right? It's like a giant ultrasound machine, right? That's
you could use that analogy of an ultrasound, right? And so we can image certain features like pockmarks or a mound or disruptions in the sediment beneath the seafloor that indicate there's some gas there. And so then we can send down equipment like a sediment cores to take a look.
to take a look, and that's what you did. And Ben, you actually took samples, as we know. Those rocks were some of the samples.
Right.
But you also found some worms. Tell us about these. Well, they're tube worms. Tell us about these tube worms.
Well, these particular worms that were in the mud that we collected are called siboglynnid frenulates, and they are really, really long and really, really thin. They don't have a mouth. They don't have a stomach. They have an organ that holds bacteria inside it. And those bacteria use the sulfide and the methane, make it into energy. There's a little bit left over for the worm, so it can go its entire life without ever taking a bite.
So those worms, so that is an indication, they only live where there's chemical reactions like this gas going on, correct?
Right. You can only find those worms if there's either sulfide or methane deep under the sediments.
So another confirmation that this is indeed a methane seep.
That's right.
And Jillian, methane seeps are typically found on fault lines. In this case, it's the San Diego Trough Fault. Is it dangerous? I mean, I think of gas and fault lines. Like, could it explode? Is it dangerous? Could an earthquake make it bigger?
I wouldn't consider it to be dangerous. There is some evidence that earthquakes can release more gas than is usually present, but these organisms that Ben is talking about, they use up a lot of the methane before it can even get into the seawater and then the atmosphere. You know, I think it's a really interesting way to look at the geologic controls, but I wouldn't consider this seep to be a hazard.
Not a hazard for a danger. How about, and you just touched this, how about, and Ben, I'll ask you this, how about it going up into the atmosphere? We know methane gas is dangerous to our atmosphere.
It is a greenhouse gas, and it's good that we have ecosystems that are using the methane so that more of it isn't released. And so we should be, we're interested in a global sense how much methane actually does come from seeps, and it's one of the reasons that this could be a really interesting place for Scripps researchers to do further research on.
The other interesting part of this, Jillian, is could this be tapped as an energy source? Because, you know, it's flowing.
Well, I think we're not really at the point where this is an energy source that can be used right now. So for now, it's a really cool environment for biologists to go out and study, and I think it's going to be great for Scripps researchers to go out.
Both of you are going back in December. Let's start with you, Jillian. What do you hope happens in December? Why are you going? What do you want to find?
Ideally, we'd like to be able to visualize the seep, so have some sort of video or camera equipment that we can look at what it actually looks like down there, and then be able to take some more samples to look at things like the geochemistry and more of the biology.
And Ben, how about you? You're on the biology side of this. Are you hoping to find other organisms? What do you hope to find in December?
We would certainly like to see a larger extent of the seep and know exactly what's there. We're interested to know if there's connections between this seep and other known methane seeps along the west coast. We are really interested to see how large the area is and whether we just blindly picked one little seep or if it was a much larger area that we landed in the middle of.
The bigger picture. Well, that'll be exciting, so definitely keep us posted on that. And Bill and Jillian, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ben.
San Diego lifeguards report an unusually large number of stingray attacks at area beaches over the weekend. The surf was relatively small, but lifeguards made more than 100 rescues on Sunday alone. On a typical day, they make 30 to 50 rescues. Most of the stingray attacks were reported at La Jolla Shores on Saturday and Sunday. Lifeguards urged folks to shuffle their feet when they walk in shallow water to avoid getting stung. By the way, water temperature has dipped into the low 60s at the beaches. The busy summer season usually ends after Labor Day. San Diego Zoo has turned on its panda cam to show off its newest record setter. Bayun gave birth for the 6th time yesterday. She's had more cubs than any panda outside of China. There have been some concern, or had been some concern, because Bayun is 20. That's considered old for a pregnant panda, but zookeepers say mother and baby are doing just fine. What does it mean to make theater that challenges social injustice? The playwright considered the father of Chicano theater is talking about that over at the Roundtable.
He's considered the father of Chicano theater. Playwright Luis Valdez founded El Teatro Campesino in the 1960s. It's a theater company run by and for farm workers. And here's an interesting fact. His play Zoot Suit was the first Chicano play on Broadway. It's now a classic, and it's getting a fresh staging at the San Diego Repertory Theater. Joining me to talk about his work is Luis Valdez. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Are you surprised that Zoot Suit, which was set in the 1940s, is still resonating with folks today in 2012?
Actually, I'm not. Unfortunately, some of the issues that the play raises are still with us. The criminalization of Latino youth, the African-American youth, that's still with us. But more than that, the play is about the whole process of Americanization during World War II, and that process is still going on to this very day, so people find it relevant.
They do find it relevant. How about the cultural significance of a Zoot Suit? What is a Zoot Suit for people who don't know, and why is that culturally significant?
Well, Zoot Suit was a suit that the young Zooters, then jazz dancers, started wearing in the early 40s. It's really an outgrowth of the jazz culture. It started with African Americans in the East and spread west, and Chicanos picked it up in L.A. It's a symbol, I think. It's sort of a suit that represents youthfulness in the 1940s. It's a wonderful style. It's exaggerated clothing, the baggy pants and the fingertip coat, the watch chain. This has become a very classic look that still works. There's something about the human figure that is enhanced and actually made more attractive by the Zoot Suit.
Yeah, what inspired you to actually, did you wear a Zoot Suit? Why did you think, what inspired you to write this play?
Well, I was a boy, I was a child in the 1940s. I was born in 1940, so some of my first impressions were of Zoot Suiters. Now, in the Chicano community, they were called pachucos, and so a couple of them were kind of interesting. One was my cousin, and he had a Billy, and he was a pachuco, and he was a teenager. I was 6 years old, but he had a running partner by the name of Cici that later got to be known by the world as Cesar Chavez. Mm-hmm. And so he was a teenager. Cesar was a teenager then, and he became, of course, the apostle of nonviolence, the leader of the farm workers. But it is
based on true events, the Zoot Suit riots?
The Zoot Suit riots occurred in Los Angeles in 1943. It's sort of the phenomenon of the war hysteria on the West Coast. I mean, it's justified. The Pearl Harbor had happened, and people didn't know whether the Japanese army was going to invade the West Coast. So there was an overreaction, basically, including the relocation of Japanese Americans away from the West Coast, put into concentration camps. That's a kind of a shameful little chapter, in American history. Mm-hmm. But the other little chapter is what happened to the pachucos in the streets of Los Angeles. They were attacked and had their suits ripped off and called draft dodgers. That wasn't true. The Mexican Americans fought in World War II as much as everyone else. But it was a very dramatic period, so I chose this form, a theatrical form, a musical form, to dramatize that period.
And you chose this form. You believe, though, pretty clearly that theater has a social responsibility. What sort of issues would you like to see theater covering today, social issues?
Well, I've always believed that theater is a creator of community, and community is a creator of theater. Mm-hmm. You have a live audience. You're there in an open forum, and so it's a wonderful device to bring people together to discuss social issues, Now, it's the responsibility of the theater artist to make them as interesting and as dramatic and as fascinating as possible. So the theater can do that. You need playwrights, you need directors, you need actors, and I think that the cast and the actors that the San Diego Rep has amassed for this revival of Zoot Suit is fantastic. It's a whole new generation. It's the San Diego School of Creative Arts and Performing Arts, together with the San Diego Rep, to create, I think, an explosive production.
Well, your son has a lead role in it, Henry. He's kind of owned that role. What's your take on it?
Well, Lakin was born actually on the very day that I finished the play, so his mother gave him birth. But he's played the role before, and he's happy to be here in San Diego. The role is one of a gang leader, but of course he has a family, and the play is really about his coming of age. It's his rite of passage in conjunction with this Pachuco figure, this mythical sort of master of ceremonies. So it's a mythical drama. It's epic theater in the Brechtian. Bertolt Brecht was a German playwright. So it's Brechtian theater in terms of its style, but it also has 5, 6, 7 musical numbers in it, and we've enhanced this production by having a live band from the San Diego School, again, of Creative and Performing Arts, and this is only the second time that a live band has played in this production of Zoot Suit. And the first time was here in San Diego, so it's a rare treat.
It is a rare treat, and you've come home. Luis Valdez, thank you so much for talking with us. Now, Zoot Suit runs through August 12th at San Diego's Reps Lyceum Stage in Horton Plaza.
Exactly. It's we welcome everybody. It's a play that'll play to the whole family, so young and old, come and enjoy.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
In tonight's Public Square, a few comments about a KPBS story on a new mobile food truck that serves San Diego's homeless in downtown. Homeless people often have limited access to the CalFresh program, formerly known as food stamps. But now a mobile food truck operator is signing them up for the service while providing low-cost food. The one-of-a-kind food truck offers hot and freshly made meals for under $3.50. From breakfast burritos to fajita wraps, it's all cooked to order. Drinks are cheap too, just 50 cents for juice and 25 cents for bottled water. All you need to do is show an identification card to get signed up. Heather Collins-Dudis didn't like the idea. She posted this on Facebook: "Quit feeding the suffering with suffering. Wake up before free will is no longer an option." But Homelessness News in San Diego had this firsthand remark on Facebook: "The food and service is great." You can weigh in on this conversation or others seen here on KPBS by following us on Twitter, liking us on Facebook, or email us at publicsquare@kpbs.org.
And you can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thanks so much for joining us. You have a great night.